What's interesting about product managers, when you don't necessarily have direct reports, and of course, the more senior you become, you obviously get them. But even at the beginnings of being a product manager, a lot of your leading is through influence,
Yeah.
like you mentioned. And so the tricky thing is, and I'm sure you've had this happen, which is, maybe someone comes to you and says, I'm trying to get this done and it's just not working. I know I have to lead through influence. I know I've got to do this coaching thing, but it would be so much easier if they maybe like the whole function reported to me and I could just tell them what to do and then they would do it. It's just so painfully slow because I have to work through influence in this way. How do you respond to someone who comes to you and says that? I mean, there is some, if you just look at the facts, they might not be wrong that it might be faster if they didn't have to go about, leading through influence. And yeah, just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, you're right. If everyone just reported to me and if I was the king, then it would be a lot faster. Except that if you understood what I was saying earlier about sort of authoritative leadership versus transformational leadership, I may not get the results even if I'm the boss and will make it so because I haven't necessarily gone through the steps of enrolling everyone in the mission and the vision of what we're trying to do. And why does that matter? It matters because I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I want other people caring about the problem as much as I do. If you take over that sort of I'm the king or queen over the whole thing, you may be taking away some of that ownership that's so essential. But you're right, it can be faster. I will laugh about this. I had two product managers that worked for me a long time ago, and one had come from a very technical background, had been an engineering manager, and had led large teams. And she was brilliant, but she was new to product management. And I had another product manager who was not super technical, didn't have all that engineering management or experience. And yet, when I asked the engineering teams, they preferred the less technical product manager versus the one who was a lot more knowledgeable as an engineer. And I remember asking them why. Why do you prefer this amazing woman over this other amazing woman? And they said, well, the one with less technical experience brings us insight. The other one brings us information. And I think in a funny way, the one who had been an engineering manager, she was used to saying, okay, I got all this data team, you go figure it out. Whereas a product manager, they're not going to do anything if you just give them information. She would go through the data and pull out of the data, here's what I think is the most essential things we should pay attention to. So she knew that they weren't going to follow her just because she dumped a bunch of stuff on them. She had to bring value and had to bring insight. So I think in a funny way, not being the king or queen forced my other product manager to have to really think about what value she was bringing in order to lead people. People don't follow product managers because they're in charge. They follow the ones who bring the best ideas and the best insight.